thing on? Can you, okay, I hear me. Okay, great. So thanks everyone for coming. I'm really amazed we pretty much filled up this room with people who apparently care about the wiki. That feels pretty, oh yeah, it's people care about free stuff. Yeah! All right, so this is kind of just a general talk about the RuneScape Wiki and the old school RuneScape Wiki and kind of what we've done over the last year, maybe how you could use it better. And we're going to have a Q&A at the end. You can ask anything you want, as long as it's not about microtransactions, because that's not us. Okay. All right, so the RuneScape Wiki is actually, I didn't actually realize this myself. It's an extremely popular site. It's about the 1,000th most popular website in the United States. I think it's currently the biggest non-Wikipedia wiki in the world, which is really weird to think about.
Shauny, what's up?
Hey, Shauny's here! Yay! He's back from. Did you burn the food or?
I don't have a mic. Do I just talk? Yeah, we'll have to share.
Okay.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I didn't cook, but I witnessed some massacre. I think is the right word for it. It's been a delight. It wasn't a mess at all.
That's so great.
Would you say it was a chef's delight?
A chef's delight.
Yikes.
A chef's delight.
Anyway, so yeah, there's about 70,000 content articles between the two main wikis, and those have been contributed to by 400,000 editors, which I think is absolutely insane. I'm not really even sure that's possible. We get about 300,000 users a day. We've been tracking all of the countries that people visit from, and I'm not really sure how this is possible, but it says that we have visits from 236 countries, including North Korea. They visited the anti-fire potion page. This is a true story. This is for real. Yeah, and I mean, it's a big site, and just because we didn't have anywhere else to put it, and people are curious about the most popular pages. Molly, what do we have?
I don't know. This was not. No.
Okay, I'll say it, I guess. So yeah, most popular pages on RS Wiki are Traveling Merchant Shop, because people kind of want to see it literally every day. Money Making Guide, because people want money. A bunch of other general stuff. Spine, what do we have for old school?
For the highest is at 3 million is Optimal Quest Guide, which actually I don't actually use because I have a Questscape already, and apparently people really like it.
Thanks.
Oh yes. Hydration.
Hydration, homies. Thank you.
So
Nice.
don't trip on stage. So I should mention actually, like when it comes to this, of course, the RuneScape itself has the /wiki command. Of course, we added it a couple months back. The reason why Traveling Merchant is so far up there as well is it is a daily thing, but also the abbreviation of TMS, I believe,
yeah,
right? Is that correct?
TMS. Yeah, we'll get there.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Shauny, pay attention.
I'm trying to balance everything, but I mean, the number is insane, right? I mean, it's just insane to see.
Yeah.
Wow. What we got?
Yeah, this is one. So yeah, in case you've been living under a pet rock, we've moved away. We moved away from fandom last year to an ad-free, independent site supported by Jagex. The URLs are runescape.wiki, or rs.wiki for short, and oldschool.runescape.wiki, or osrs.wiki for short.
There was actually a domain squatter on that second one, and we had to pay him a bunch of money to get the domain back.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
All right.
Yeah, so it's been a crazy year, and all of that newfound freedom has led to tons of innovation that we couldn't have done otherwise before working with Jagex, which includes, I don't know why it just went ahead there, which is dark mode.
Woo! Yeah.
Turn off the lights for extra effect. It's one of the most popular features and the one most highly requested after we went independent. And it's about 30% of players use it and have it enabled. So if this is news to you and you hate really bright things, you can enable it on the top right. There's a moon icon on the top right, and you can set it there.
So, sorry. I just want to, actually, I kind of want to talk about it from a Jagex perspective, I guess, from the whole wiki thing. So as you guys know, as I'm sure you're aware, many years ago, we tried to do our own wiki, which obviously in retrospect wasn't the best idea. You got in that sense, you know, it didn't work, and it caused problems, and they didn't need to be there. Like the resource that the wiki provides players is incredible. So we had the opportunity last year to kind of fix that, and we thought, you know, without trying to rant on fandom too much, but like why take them away from fandom where we can just let them decide how they want the wiki to run, because these guys have run the wiki for many years. These guys know their stuff, so give them that freedom to do it instead of being imposed these limits and all the other stuff that's come up. Like, you know, one example was the videos autoplaying on the wiki articles, which were a little bit unrelated, if I remember correctly.
A little tiny bit, yeah.
And
Zamek Wizard.
yeah, and you know, just giving them the opportunity to finally just go, do you know what, you guys are amazing. This is your platform. Go and smash it. We'll give you any help we can. And you know, I think it's paying off, and it's amazing what the wiki has done for all players, because I think all players use it some way, shape, or form. So yeah, I just thought I'd chime in from a Jagex perspective, I guess, on that one.
But also, Shauny was the first beta tester of dark mode ever, and he was just, yeah, you lost your mind.
Yeah, I love dark mode. I've dark moded on all my apps, but yeah, I didn't realize I was the first one.
No, you're literally the first,
Well,
yeah.
I'm honored in that regard.
All for you, bud.
Oh dear me. All right, we've got next.
Yeah.
So,
Here we go.
So we also have the wiki
Sorry.
command that was added a few months ago, so it's fairly new. Thank you, Shauny, for your help with that. It's been used like hundreds of thousands of times. The most popular searches are player in farms, TMS, and you guys managed to do a lot of misspellings for anachronia words, so good job on that. So you can just search wiki directly in game, so that's really great.
Yeah, so a bit of backstory on that one. So first of all, I need to give all the credit. Like the man who did it was Modesty, so I have to give him the credit for that. Like he was the guy who took it into the opportunity to then do that. And the important thing to mention is that this isn't the end for what we can do with wiki integration, and that's the important thing to mention here. Like you have /wiki, but we will always look to try and find out ways where we can add more integration. So maybe you don't want to go and type. Maybe you want to press a button and maybe click something and it takes you to a wiki page for it, which might be much better compared to having to type it out. Because sometimes it can be a little bit of a pain having to repeat that over and over. But yeah, /wiki, when we announced it on a stream out of the blue, I wanted these guys to announce it, but they wanted me to announce it. It went down really, really well, and we're really proud of that opportunity that we've given them, and allowing players to do that for themselves instead of having to just bring up the wiki and then type it in for them. Just one extra step less is always the important thing here.
Yeah. Okay, so my personal favorite thing that we've done in this last year is we got our hands on about 100 million kills worth of drop data on both games. That was a kind of big collaborative effort where we basically had people on the RuneScape 3 side at least submit their rune metrics kills. We got like 1,000 people to do that, and they gave us a whole bunch of visibility into exact drop rates, and that's led us to do a ton of like bizarre statistical manipulations to figure out the exact fractions for a large variety of different drops. And this is now on, I think, a majority of monster pages on both sites. But we're not done. If anyone is like super interested in this, and it turns out it seems a lot of people are, let us know, talk to us afterwards. We need a lot of help pretty much converting this raw data into things that can actually be fractions on the wiki.
Yeah, and it's always helpful when we have Jagex mods who on Twitter or in a stream will either open thousands of monster drops or actually give us the straight rates. That's always very helpful.
Yeah.
So in the past, we've been quite guarded about it, but I feel like as time's going on, there's not a harm in releasing drop rates depending on when we release it, and that's the important thing. Like we always want to double check with the content creators. Like for example, if you want to find out the drop rate of stuff from Solak, you want to go to Mod Ramen because you don't want to just release it without him knowing, because that's not fair on him. But we love the appeal of finding out drop rates randomly, getting that surprise drop, but at the same time, some people just want to know the drop rates. And recently we've really started to do that, but I imagine we'll get onto that in just a bit as well.
Yeah, for the past few months, we've been keeping track of exact locations of where items spawn in game. That map is not supposed to be. It's supposed to be the farming guild with a twisted bow, but I think we changed that at the last minute. But yeah, we've been connecting the coordinates to interactive maps. So expect to see this kind of thing on like relevant item pages soon, and like eventually like NPCs and like other types
It
of
might
maps.
replace like a lot of other maps too. So it actually is basically Google Maps, but for RuneScape. Yeah, we'll see. Hey, calculators. Okay. Yeah, here we go, Shauny. So it's been like a really good year for, I think, wiki calculators. We've got a lot of really interesting things done. One thing I really want to call out right now is we launched it's like a invention perk probability calculator like 2 weeks ago or something. That was an ordeal, wasn't it?
Okay. So you have to imagine, obviously we have all these different components, we have the ways that they're generated and so on and so forth, but the important thing is there's so many different factors that go into it. For example, if you've not read the page, when you first roll, it randomly chooses a number from 0 to your invention level, then divides it by 2 and does it 5 times to get a number. And that's your base number, which then goes into many different factors. So it was an ordeal. It was very, I'm going to say it was very tough to get it down.
We got most of it on like the first couple days. The thing that messed it up is Jagex uses this really weird sorting algorithm that on the wiki we call cursed sort. It's just...
Really?
It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, we got it done. We figured it out. Shauny was obviously invaluable to all of that. And for any Jagex people in the room, I would like to point out if there's any like game mechanics that you want to sort of elucidate to the community and you don't want to necessarily do all the legwork to figure out exactly how it works, then we're probably the people to talk to. We can do all the legwork to get the exact rates, figure out whether it's a greater than or a greater than equals, where the integer flooring happens, all this ridiculous stuff that ends up mattering in practice. And we can actually make it into a cool calculator that people can use. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of collaboration going forward.
The perk one was something that they've wanted for ages. Like,
3.5 years.
The only reason we waited so long is because when it comes out, it ruins the whole syncing components into roll.
Yeah.
But, Invention's almost been out 4 years now. And everyone wants to go for those elusive perks, and they want to see just how many times they want to sync their components in. And I think now is the right time to do it. So, I gotta give a shout out to Timbo, Easty, Ryan. Those three guys have been amazing in answering specific questions from me, as I've been pestering them for it. But we're looking at it. It looks awesome. I'm really happy we can get that out, and that's the important thing, really. And obviously we have additionals as well, like Slayer Codex. The Shabdi one was good fun as well.
Yeah. Herb farming was a big one.
Yeah,
It was Easty too, actually.
Bit of a pattern here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we also recently released a bestiary and an armory. And both of these are basically tables that you can sort and filter by item or monster stats and attributes and properties, so that you can show all the monsters with Slayer level over 90, for example, or all the body slot items that are over tier 80 and are magic. So that's very helpful if you're trying to figure out the ideal monster that you want to kill for XP, for example, or the optimal item for a slot for one of your setups.
Okay, so this wouldn't be a RuneFest talk if I didn't mention Google Maps, which is our, it's kind of in beta test. It's this thing we're working on that pretty much lets you put in point A and point B and kind of select some teleports, and we'll tell you the provably optimal route from one point to the other in terms of time taken. So it's Google Maps because it's like Google Maps, but if we called it, they might sue us still. We're not really sure.
You're on your own on that one. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So we like kind of half announced this last year. It ended up being really hard. So I'm gonna just say can we say winter 2017? Is that allowed? Okay. Yeah. Come.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. That's all.
All right, so we wanted to highlight a couple things that are upcoming on the wiki that we're in the process of working on, especially related to personalization, how the wiki can be optimized for your own use. So one of the main things we've done recently has been player-specific data. For example, all the quests now have a box at the top where you can enter your username, and assuming that your Rune Metrics profile is not private, it will load which quests you've completed and your levels, and it will tell you if you can or cannot start the quest. And it also works with the suggested requirements that aren't actual requirements. And we're working on expanding this to the old school side, and we'd also like to be able to include other data such as your achievements and mini quests and partially completed quests, things like that. Of course, that's something that we also have to work with Jagex on because a lot of that is not currently available via API. Now, a huge project that we've been working on that...
This guy's been working on.
Yeah, okay. Mostly me, I guess. Is a DPS calculator. So you enter your username or your combat stats, and you can choose a loadout. So you can choose items for all the slots, including pocket slots. You can choose abilities such as what used to be sigils and are now abilities, or berserker, stuff like that. You can choose auras, potions, prayers, and then it will calculate your damage and your hit chance on a given monster, and also your chance of blocking a monster's attack. And it will also calculate damage for any ability as well as general auto attack damage. We'd like to expand it to old school, which should be a lot easier. This version is it's 6,770 lines of code roughly, of which half is the calculator. So it's extremely complex. I do not want to know what the actual RuneScript looks like to calculate damage.
I'm not saying a thing. I don't know specifically, so I don't want to act like it's in horror or something like that. That wouldn't be wise.
Yeah, that's basically that. So look for this coming soon. Right now, it's only for logged-in users. You can turn it on because it's in beta test. A huge shout-out to G-Papa, who wrote the original RuneScape 3 hit calculator, which was a Google sheet, and also ShadowFox, who should be watching on stream, who did a lot of the testing and worked out specific damage-related things and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we know a lot of people have been complaining about our money-making guides because often the kills per hour is like not accurate to you. So yeah, it doesn't reflect your kills per hour because you might be like a level 3 in bronze armor or a max guy in bandos. So so there isn't really a rate that works for everyone. So we always just assume like the average rate.
It's an unsolvable problem in general.
Basically. Yeah, which is solvable if we allow you to put your own kills per hour. So you can set it to like 20 or 73. So yeah, we will probably gonna start putting this into skill guides soon. So yeah, it's cool.
One of the other things we're working on doing is browser notifications. I'm sure a lot of you know them. There's a lot of sites that are super annoying and ask you all every 5 minutes if you want to get notifications from them. We want to do this on the wiki where you'd have to opt into it first. No, it wouldn't automatically show up. You'd have to go in and check a box that you want to get them. And then we'd make available things like farming and ports voyage timers. So you could say, I have a voyage that's completing in 9 hours, and then your browser would give you a notification from the wiki. Voice of Saren, so you get updates on what the current Voice of Saren is, which player-owned farm buyers have spawned, which resets have occurred, things like that. Those of you who currently use the wiki will know that a lot of the light tables, which are these green things you can check off, achievements or the quests.
Optimal quest guide.
Yeah, the optimal quest guide and things like that. And also all the calculator data, it's stored in your browser. So it uses cookies and local data, which are specific to a browser, which means that if you have multiple browsers on your computer or you switch to your phone or your tablet, it doesn't sync across. So one of the things we're working on doing is creating a sync so it syncs to your user account so that you can do it on your computer. And then if you're on the go or something, you can open it on your tablet and sync it over, and you have all those things already completed.
Cool. So as we kind of noted earlier, the most popular page on the entire combined site is the optimal quest guide. And what that sort of made us realize is a lot of people really want to be told what to do, which is kind of weird, but it's definitely true. And we think there's a whole giant space out there where we can give player-specific recommendations on, you know, you have one more level to go before you can do this quest, or hey, all of a sudden you can finish this achievement diary and get that rune crafting level that you hate so much. There's a lot of things we can do in that area. It's kind of it's a very nebulous thing right now, and it definitely will require a lot of collaboration between us and Jagex if we end up really doing it in a big way. Probably won't look like our AI assistant Krabby, who we had for April Fools. I know a lot of people want him to come back. He'll be back in a big way, but not quite there. Oh yeah, sorry. Sarah's telling me that technically you can still enable him if you go into your preferences. He's still there for me. It gets kind of annoying. Yeah, okay.
All right, so one of the things we wanted to highlight is all of the data we have on the wiki and how you can take advantage of that either on the wiki itself or on your own sites, apps, whatever you want to use. So some of the available data we have would be items and monster stats, GE prices, 11 years worth of them, drop rates, store stocks and prices, release dates, transcripts, images, quest requirements, skilling activities, achievements, XP, game mechanics to some extent. All those kinds of things are currently available on the wiki, and we have a pretty good access to a lot of other data too. So if there's those of you who want to do some project and there's some data that we don't have currently on the wiki, come talk to us. We can probably arrange to have that data available to you.
So you have your own user space when you have an account on the wiki, and really you can just do anything there. You can write about anything. You could be writing. We have a guy who writes a diary every year for RuneFest. He goes on. It's like this huge long story that goes into great detail about everything he did during the day. You could also do suggestions, guides, calculators, goals if you want to track achievements. If you want to plan your player in house. If you want to plan any outfits, use all the images we've got. For example, we've got Suti, who did the mining smithing rework guide. He did that all in his user space. And you can also use CSS and JavaScript to customize it and make it your own. So,
yeah, I'd also add that there's like one specific user on the OSRS wiki that has been like updating his stats on there like judiciously every day for the past like 5 years, and we're all super invested in like all the goals that he gets. It's really cute. That's all.
So, for example, we have this guy, I don't know his name, but he made the site scape.fashion, and he downloaded all of the detailed images from the wiki. You pick a color, and it gives you all the best items that are going to match with that color for max fashion scape.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so yeah, this is, as you all hopefully know, a wiki is a thing that anyone can edit. We don't get to 400,000 contributors without having a very low standard for who can access it. And you know, we really love new people, and I see over 100 people in this room. I know a lot of you are wiki editors, but even if you're not, it really only takes one person to make a really significant difference on the site for literally hundreds of thousands of people. So for example, these quick guides that everyone knows and loves for quests, that was just some random person from New Zealand who hadn't really done that much contribution to the site before was like, hey, what if we had guides that were just bullet points, because I don't want to read all this useless stuff. Sorry, Jack. and everyone was like, oh, that's actually a really good idea. Let's do that. So all the buy limits on the wiki, that was just like one person going back and forth, spending like hundreds of millions of coins, figuring out the exact buy limits for everything in like 2012. It was me, actually. But yeah, so like, you know, what's your idea? There's tons of things that we almost certainly haven't thought about. Anyone here could contribute something really massive to the site, and it gives back huge dividends to everyone else.
Yeah, so we've also got various incentives, in case we haven't convinced you already. We've got one small wiki favor, which is basically you choose a project to complete. That could be making calculators, doing image transparency, collecting data, once you complete that, you get a bond. And we've also got the Wiki title. So once you do some edits, you can get nominated. You can get the title from editing either Wiki, old school, or RS3. And we've got about over 300 people given it out so far. So
Shout out to Shauny for like
yeah.
doing that.
Thanks. And I just want to clarify, like, why then? And this is before the partnership happened.
Yeah.
Like, this was just on a conversation and a whim. Like, I feel like, yeah, people. It is just a title, but at the same time, there are very passionate people about the wiki, and they don't have a way of showing that in game. And a title is a little thing, but it is a way of showing that they've made the effort to create and contribute to a knowledge base which our players use, and that's the most important thing for me. So yeah, I'm glad that we were able to get that through, because I feel like something like that, it's only a small recognition, but having it in game is like Jagex's way of saying we appreciate the effort you guys are making on that wiki, and that's the important thing for me, really.
But lastly, we are not just wiki editors, we are a large group of friends. We did just come back from Gran Canaria before RuneFest, so there's about 20 of us here. So, we don't bite, come join our Discord, come say hi. So, yeah, we all have this shared interest in this rather niche thing.
Arguably.
So, yeah, come say hi, come join.
Spine, why did we go to Gran Canaria?
Oh, that's because it's shaped like the granite shield.
Yeah, we literally were like, where should we go? And I as a meme suggested, let's go to the Granite Shield Island, and then no one had a better idea. So then, so then we went there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's a mountain on the island. That's
there's a mountain called Mount Neve.
It's called Pico de las Nieves.
I'm calling it Mount Neve.
It's like on the granite shield is like that little thing in the middle.
Little
thing in the middle.
thing.
It's like that's where the mountain would be.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, this one is next. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be other order. That's okay. So one last thing is, if you're kind of part of a niche community that is an expert on, I don't know, barbarian assault or PVM mechanics, or okay, yeah, I got something back there. Or Ultimate Iron Man, or like the guys that speedrun all of the free-to-play quests. Those guys are insane. We would absolutely love to work with you on guides, on mechanics pages, on just anything like that. We really want to expand our coverage of really detailed niche content, and we can't do it on our own because we just, we need some help. So yeah, we'd love to work together. If that appeals to you, contact us. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming. I'm, again, really amazed that we filled up this room. I don't know how many people are watching this on the stream. I'm sure it's a reasonably large number. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, so we have, how much time I don't know, we have 20 minutes maybe? Yeah, questions? Anyone have questions about anything?
Suggestions for the wiki?
Suggestions, complaints, rants,
Drop rates.
drop rates.
Just a moment. Oh.
What'd you say?
Volcano drop rates. I mean, we'd have to.
That would be up to Mod Lenny because he's the one who made it. So
He is here.
yeah, so if you know Mod Lenny, you can just track him down.
Have we got a roaming mic now? Oh, here we go. Okay, well, in the meantime, if there's no questions, that means these guys have covered a lot of stuff, which is great. I guess a bit of a personal one from me, which is the two wikis themselves are incredible in what they do. They have their own dedicated fans, and that's the important thing. But I guess on behalf of Jagex, I just want to say, you guys are absolutely amazing at what you do. And, you guys have done this for, what is it now, 15 years, correct?
Yeah, 14. It's 15 next year.
15 next year,
Yeah.
apologies. So, yeah, 14 years, 15 years coming up. I mean, and I feel like, in retrospect, all the stuff that happened all those years ago shouldn't have happened. And I feel like we're in such a much better place
Hey,
now.
man, we're here now.
Yeah, I know, right? We're on stage talking at an
We're
event,
here
so
now.
it's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, you guys deserve all the support
Well,
you get.
it literally wouldn't have happened without Shauny. None of this would have happened. Woo! Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's been amazing, and I think it's great just to see the results that have come from it. I mean, it's awesome, and it will go from strength to strength to strength. And I mean, for and if anyone from JagX home is watching this or watches back, whatever, like, talk to these guys. Like, these guys want to help, and if you guys want to, I know for a fact everyone at JagX is passionate about their own projects, but if you guys want to get stuff rolling, speak to the wiki, because those guys can make it happen. And yeah, that's the important thing, really. But yeah, it's been amazing. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, got to do it. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And scene.
Oh.